Bartholomew was a simple chicken. He loved scratching in the dirt, basking in the sun, and clucking with his fellow chickens. One day, Bartholomew found something unusual in the coop. It was a crispy, golden brown piece of something he had never seen before. It smelled delicious. He pecked at it cautiously, then took a bite. It was the tastiest thing he had ever eaten. He gobbled it down, leaving not even a crumb. Bartholomew felt a pang of guilt. He had never eaten anything like that before. It didn't smell like grain or worms. It didn't look like anything the farmer had ever given them. What was it? He pushed the thought aside, unable to resist the delicious memory of the crispy treat. He wished he could find more of it. The next day, the farmer came to the coop with a bucket of scraps. Bartholomew watched eagerly, hoping for another taste of the delicious mystery food. But among the usual vegetable peels and bread crusts, he saw something that turned his blood cold. It was a bone, a chicken bone. Bartholomew felt sick. He remembered the crispy skin, the juicy meat. It wasn't some unknown treat. It was chicken. He had eaten another chicken. Horror flooded him. He stumbled back from the bucket, bumping into the other chickens who clucked at him in annoyance. He couldn't meet their eyes. He was a monster. Bartholomew tried to forget the taste, the texture, the guilt. He tried to go back to his simple life, pecking at seeds and chasing grasshoppers. But the memory lingered. The crispy skin, the juicy meat. The craving started subtly, a longing for something more than the usual bland food. Bartholomew found himself staring at the other chickens, not with his usual camaraderie, but with a strange hunger. He tried to resist it. He pecked at the ground with extra fervor, hoping to bury the unnatural desire, but the taste haunted him. It was a whisper at first, then a demanding roar. Bartholomew grew thinner, his feathers duller. He couldn't sleep. The other chickens avoided him, sensing a change in their once friendly companion. Bartholomew was losing himself to the craving. One day, Bartholomew snapped. The hunger overwhelmed him, blotting out reason and guilt. He looked at the plump hen beside him, her feathers glistening in the sun. He saw not a friend, but a feast. It happened so fast. 1 minute, Henrietta the hen was clucking idly beside Bartholomew. The next, she was gone. A flurry of feathers, a muffled squawk, and then silence. Bartholomew stood over the spot where Henrietta had been, his beak stained red. He felt a pang of remorse, quickly swallowed by a primal hunger. He couldn't stop now. He ate and ate, driven by a force he couldn't control. The other chickens, alerted by the commotion, returned to find only scattered feathers. And Bartholomew, his chest puffed out, his eyes glazed over. Bartholomew tried to act normal, but the other chickens edged away, sensing something was terribly wrong. He tasted fear in their clucks, saw suspicion in their eyes. Section 5. Whispers and Worry. The disappearance of Henrietta sent a ripple of fear through the coop. The chickens whispered amongst themselves, their clucking taking on an anxious edge. Where had she gone? Had she escaped? No one dared say what they truly feared. Bertram the rooster strutted with forced confidence, assuring everyone Henrietta had probably just wandered off. But even he couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The air felt heavy, the usual joy of scratching in the dirt replaced by a gnawing unease. Bartholomew kept to himself, plagued by guilt and fear. He knew what they suspected. He saw the way they looked at him, the way they shuffled away when he came close. He was a pariah, an outcast in his own home. The truth couldn't stay hidden for long. One morning, Gertrude, the oldest hen, ventured into Bartholomew's corner of the coop. She was looking for Henrietta, still clinging to the hope that her friend was simply lost. What she found instead chilled her to the bone. Tucked behind a pile of hay, barely concealed, lay a scattering of bones, picked clean and white. Gertrude recognized the delicate curve of Henrietta's neck bone, the distinctive pattern of her wing. A single blood-stained feather lay beside the gruesome evidence. Gertrude stumbled back, a strangled squawk escaping her beak. She had to tell the others. They had to know. The news spread through the coop like wildfire. Bartholomew had eaten Henrietta. The whispers turned to shrieks, the fear to fury. They had to stop him, but how? He was one of them, and yet a monster in their midst. The next day, the farmer opened the coop door, ready for the daily collection. The chickens usually scattered, eager to avoid being caught. But today they acted as one. With a flurry of feathers and a chorus of angry clucking, they surrounded Bartholomew, driving him towards the farmer's waiting hands. Bartholomew didn't resist. He felt a strange sense of relief. It was over. His secret was out. As the farmer carried Bartholomew away, the chickens watched in silence. They had done what they had to do. They were safe. But a heavy silence fell over the coop. They had never killed before. Even if it was for the greater good, the weight of their actions pressed down on them. Gertrude, her feathers ruffled and her eyes filled with sadness, nudged the single blood-stained feather closer to the other chickens, a reminder of their loss, a symbol of the darkness that had visited their coop. They had survived, but their innocence was lost. The sun set, casting long shadows across the coop. The chickens huddled together, seeking comfort in each other's presence. They had learned a terrible truth about the world and about themselves. The next day, the farmer came to the coop, as he always did, with a bucket of scraps. Among the usual vegetable peels and bread crusts lay a few pieces of crispy golden brown chicken. The chickens hesitated, remembering the horror they had endured. But as the aroma filled the air, a young chick, new to the coop and unaware of its tragic past, pecked at a piece and took a bite. The cycle continued. The end.